Welcome. Hello and welcome. My voice is a bit lower today because I am still suffering a little bit from COVID. It's not affecting me too badly, so that's good. But I've been away and I'm back now, and I thought before I embark on the sort of rather large Empire Strikes Back study and various other cues which I'm going to pick out, I thought it might be quite a nice idea just to look at little bits of Phantom Menace as we go along. There's so much in there. I've done sort of 80 or 90 videos on the film, so there's just so much packed in. And I think one of the things that comes out is the harmonic content, and sort of various favoured combinations by Williams. I thought I'd take a look at some of those today and go right back to the beginning of the whole film, and at least all the sort of cue sequences, and look at this strange set called 6Z19B. What's really interesting about it is that you can form this set with two minor triads, a semitone apart. So here we got C minor and B minor. So that makes it up. And it sounds very, very similar to the Hungarian minor. It's just missing out one of the notes. The other thing about this chord 6Z19B is that, which is derived from the Hungarian minor really, is that you can have major triads a semitone apart as well, which is really weird. So here we go, where in prime form, so I've actually done two sets of those here, but I just wanted to point out, because that's a major chord, that's another major chord, a semitone apart, which sounds a little bit different from the one that we had before, like that, and here we have this one. So if we start on the fourth note of the scale, a little bit like you would, you know, a double harmonic minor scale, and starting on mode 4, you'll basically get the notes of a Hungarian minor, which of course is just a transposition of this. So that's really interesting, because of course I've got my D flat major here, and I've got my C major chord there. It's really, really strange. So one of them has a minor chord with semitone lower, the other one has a major chord with another major chord semitone higher, but they're the same chord. So there's so much in there that you can derive, and this is part of the point really, is that, you know, having this sort of thing is really useful, because I've got my 6Z19B here. I can explore just that 6-note thing and explore little polychords here. So for example, I've got some here, which I've just done for mode 4. So we've got sort of G major and C minor. We've got sort of E flat augmented and C minor, A flat major and C minor, A flat minor and C minor, like that as well, A flat diminished, like that. All sorts of different polychords that you can get from just one, that's just one set, one 6-note sort of combination. And then of course you've got 5-note chords, and the main ones which I spot really are this one, 521A, 521B, so mostly sort of 521B, and you, of course, you can get 4-note chords from that as well. So all sorts of things here, and therefore they have different combinations. That sort of thing all sounds rather mysterious. And this other one, 522, as well, which appears quite a lot. So, you know, mucking around with all of these subsets is really, really crucial. And I think this is kind of where Williams is getting all of this. You know, all of these chords are basically derived from the Hungarian minor, but principally this 6z19B, you don't actually need the 7th note. So it's just 6 of those tones. So you can see it from very, very early on. So this was the very first one I did. It looks a bit different, doesn't it, from where I started? But of course we actually start with a 6z19B chord, and not forgetting that you know, the final chord from the Starry Night sequence is a 419. So it's a minor chord with a major 7th, or a different sort of combination as well. So you can have a major chord with a flat 6 2, which is also a subset of 6z19B. So that kind of stands to reason. We can just double check it on here. So where are we? Yes, there we go. So minor with a major 7th chord, or major chord with a flat 6. So, you know, all of those sort of Star Warsy chords are very much part of the DNA of this. So we've got that. We've also got occasionally 620, which is a different hexatonic set. So I'll talk about that another time. But here we've got another 419 chord, and lots and lots of 419 chords. So major chord with flat 6s, or minor chord with major 7th as well. All sorts of different combinations. So that's just that cue, 1M3. Then we can go on to 1M4. So this was the gas leak one. And we find also that we've got some of these chords too as well. If I can just find where it was. I did have it a minute ago. It's always annoying when you sort of find something and then realise that it's suddenly gone. But yes, so here we go, 6z19 without B. So, you know, this is a good example, C and D flat. Well, we know that that's correct because I've just sort of done that. So here. So a good example of one of those sort of chord clusters. So occasionally he misses out sort of, you know, one note in terms of sort of inversions from the top. But of course that's because the trumpets are going there, so he doesn't need to put anything in there with the strings at that point. So again, so he uses that quite a lot, and of course it relates very much to 722, which is double harmonic scale or Hungarian minor. So that exists very much in that example, and a lot of this is sort of derived from all of those chords. So all of this is derived from double harmonic minor. In other words, 6z19B is a subset of that. And then we go even on to 1M4A, the droid fight score reduction, which I think I started doing it a little bit more sensibly at this point, where you've got all of these 522 sets. So the 522 is one of the derived sets from this. So this one, 01478, is the prime form. So again, it's very much part of a subset of the Hungarian minor. In this case, he generally tends to find a minor triad in the top voices. So if we have a look at this not that one, gas leak, we can see, you know, E flat minor in the top part really, and then D. I mean, it's very embedded really though, isn't it? Like that. Here we go. So it's just a sequence, but it's using all the same set structures, and all of them are derived from 6z19B. So it's very much a sort of gnarliness that he's getting against that. Really interesting. Lots of 419 sets as well. Like that. 418 sets too. I can't remember whether 418 is part of the this one as well? Yes, it is. There we go. So 418. So this one, take a minor chord and add a diminished chord, combined at the same time, or a sharp 4. That's the other one. I'm sure that's a Marvel theme, or something like that. That's used quite a lot as well. So, you know, often in these sorts of types of structures, which are often found in Stravinsky as well, not forgetting. So he didn't invent any of this. It's just he's utilising it. So we've got all of those chords. There's 521. Again, that's part of 619B. And in 417 as well, which sort of bridges the gap. 417 is the alpha chord, so a major or minor chord. And that bridges the gap between hexatonic 619B and also octatonic as well. And then we've also got this Queen Amidala bit, which is really very gnarly indeed, actually. Starts off with a double harmonic minor, which, as we know, contains the Hungarian minor. So there we are. Like that. And then we've got 419, again, it's a subset of it. 522, it's another subset of 619B. You know, all of these sort of, basically sort of semitonal differences, or combinations, rather, is very much a part of it. So here, for example, another 419. 420 as well. So yeah, and you can see that sometimes it shifts into octatonic because of that 419. Can sort of easily shift into it. And then we've got all sorts of really weird stuff going on at this particular cue. That was a complete nightmare to analyse, I have to say. But again, we've also got 620 subsets, and you know, it's a subset of 620, but it's also a subset of 619 as well. So, you know, there's just so much that's devoted to that particular set, and that's just scratching the surface of just 4 or 5 cues. And of course, they let's just not bother saving that. It's used all the time, so it's really worth making a study of this. I think I'm going to make this available to all YouTube people, because I think it's just useful. You can always add to it as well. I'll save it as a Sibelius file, and as a PDF, so that anybody who's got Sibelius can just sort of you know, correct anything, because there's always going to be some mistake, unfortunately. But yeah, it's definitely worth having a look at that chord and then mucking around with it and seeing how it is then utilised, and to be experimental with it as well. So, you know, see how many combinations you can get out of those 6 notes. It's amazing how much you can get out of them. So I just thought I'd do a short sort of expose of those, and I'm sure there are going to be more as well. So you know, we've got things like the Droid Invasion. Can't quite remember that one. Ah, yes, here we go. So this was yeah. Yeah, all very sort of minor, and I think, you know, 619B, it tends to utilise sort of, you know, that minor stuff as well. We'll also have a look, I think, at some point about all of these sorts of block chordal harmony, where the melody is harmonised with minor triads, or diminished triads. And it's interesting that he's all, you know, in this one he's making use of the thirds as well. Anyway, I'm digressing a little bit too much, so I'm going to cut this short a little bit here. But yeah, you'll see that virtually every cue has some reference to 6Z19B if it's appropriate at the time. So here we go. So you can tell if it's 722 that it includes 6Z19B. So that's it for now, but I shall be back and will be with you soon. Bye.